we don't blend, and our rules keep us from assimilating. I'm good with that, because that's what God wants from us. God wants Jews not to assimilate, not to blend in, to stand out, to be different, follow the Torah. Mm-hmm. And if that makes us crazy, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I can handle that.
What do Jews in America owe the wider American society?
The wider society?
Yeah.
I think we owe them a tremendous hakaras hatov, which
Gratitude.
means recognition.
Yeah.
You know, I acknowledge, I have said this many times, that the greatest country, bar none, in the history of us Jews since the time we left Babylon, which was over 1,000 years ago, the greatest country for Judaism, without exception, is the United States of America. I thank God that I live in the United States of America. I think it's the greatest country ever. What makes this country great is two parts. One is the Constitution, which provides for religious freedom. Not freedom from religion, but freedom to practice our religion. Right?
Yeah.
And the other part is that the hosts have never, done the pogrom thing against us.
Right.
Because it's one thing to have it all written down, right?
Right.
But it's another thing, like we've had neighbors who, let's say, haven't been so kind to us in the past, But we have, here in America, no history of pogroms, right?
Except in Pico Robertson, where they just roll through every few
Oh,
years,
yeah.
just leaving massive devastation, like broken windows, synagogues knocked down, like Jewish women raped, it's like children sold into slavery. But aside from Pico Robertson,
well, there was one thing. There was like the Crown Heights thing.
Yeah.
And the guy just got caught. You read about that?
Yeah.
The guy just got caught. There was a pogrom in Crown Heights. I don't want to say it's never happened. Where where their neighbors, who were the black people living in that town, in that neighborhood, did an uprising and started vandalizing all the homes and looking for Jews to beat up, and they killed a Jew.
Yeah.
Okay, they killed one Jew, right? In Israel, they kill Jews get killed by 6 or 7 every day. I mean, it's terrible, right? So I would say that America is, and this was 20 years ago, how many Jews have been killed in America in the last 20 years for being Jewish?
Very few.
Very few. Yeah, it does. It's just a rare occurrence, right? And I'm going to say that this is a safe place. America's a safe place.
So how should American Jews express their gratitude for the wider society?
Being part of the society. In other words, what's the word I want to say? Celebrating their host nations.
Like Thanksgiving, observing Thanksgiving?
No, Thanksgiving is not one we have to worry about. I'm talking about 4th of July.
Okay.
4th of July, this last thing, which was Patriot Day. September 11th. It was on Shabbos. We really couldn't do anything, right? Patriot Day. 9/11 is called Patriot Day.
It is?
Yeah, they call it Patriot Day now.
Oh.
But in other words, like this.
Right.
If you look at 9/11 and you say this was something that hit me because I'm an American, then you have the right attitude. That's what I say.
Right.
If you say, oh, look what happened to them, that's an American problem, then you don't feel like you're an American. Right? And I would say that's not a good attitude for a Jew to have. That doesn't show hakaras hatov. That doesn't show thankfulness for the country that we live in, when the country that we live in has been so good to us.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Should we say hello to non-Jews when we walk past
Absolutely.
them on the
What's
street?
wrong? What's wrong with that?
Or should we spit at them?
Let me put it this way: if you say hello to Jews, then you should say hello to non-Jews. If you don't say hello to anybody because you're don't talk to people, then I don't think it matters. But if you say hello to Jews, to not say hello to non-Jews doesn't make sense to me.
But are you afraid that saying hello to Jews will lead to Jews sleeping with non-Jews?
No, because if that were the case, that would be the gezerah. You have to understand. You're leaning on. There are certain things that are put in place as fences to keep us from intermarrying with non-Jews.
Right.
We're not allowed to, drink their wine. They're not allowed to. You have the kosher laws. These kind of things, right?
Yeah.
We're not allowed to, do certain things with non-Jews. Those are the things that are going to prevent us from intermarrying with them. If saying hello to non-Jews would lead to intermarriage, it would be included in that gezerah. But the fact that it's not teaches us that we should go ahead and...
Well, I said hello to a lot of shiksas, and it's like really led to...
Well, I started the show by saying hello to a lot of shiksas. I'm even thinking...
Has that led to you having intercourse with a lot of shiksas?
I'm going to have to go with no on that. I would have remembered that one.
I mean, I've often walked down the street, and just because I said good day to a shiksa, and 10 minutes later we were having sex. It was incredible.
No way.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, get out of here. All right, next topic. Speaking of sex, we were going to talk about this week's Torah portion.
There isn't a Torah portion this week.
What's this week? Let's tell people. This week is...
Kippur.
Up till now, every week that we've been doing these Monday night gigs, there's always a parsha of the Shavua. There's always a parsha that corresponds with that week. This week, Shabbos is...
Yom Kippur.
Yom Kippur falls on Shabbos, so it takes precedence. Yom Kippur takes precedence over Shabbos, so we don't have Shabbos Kiddush. We won't eat meals this Shabbos. We'll be fasting, right? So it's not like a typical Shabbos. Shabbos is gone.
Yeah.
It also comes in and it nullifies. We don't have the regular weekly Parsha reading, but there is a reading of its own reading for Yom Kippur. Now, what's interesting is that Ne'ilah, which is the last Torah reading right before the sun comes down
to end Yom Kippur.
Yom Kippur,
yeah.
We're left with the final words, the final parsha that we're going to read.
Yeah.
And what is it about?
Forbidden sexual relations.
It tells us which forbidden sexual relationships we shouldn't get involved in. Here we are on the holiest day of the year, right? The holiest day of the year. You're fasting. You're saying, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, and, and I'm whatever, right? And, you're the king, and you're thinking all these holy, lofty thoughts. And we're reading about the lowest kinds of sexual immorality.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Well, the Gemara explains. Because you want to avoid, you're saying to God all for 25 hours that you want to be just holy, and you just want to return to God. You don't want to have you just want to. That's all you want to do. So God says to us, you know what? I'll tell you what the biggest Yetzer Hara, the biggest temptation you have to worry about is the lowest things that the human is possible to do.
Yeah.
The things that you have to worry about is, having these kind of illegal sexual acts. Because this is what you're going to be, this is where your problems are going to lie for the next 12 months, if you will. Because you could be the holiest guy in the planet, and then you look and you see some cheerleader, and it's all lost.
Yeah.
It's all gone.
Yeah. Greg emails, Luke, when I see Orthodox Jews walking down the street, what I see are a bunch of people concealing their true nature through elaborate medieval costuming. Now, I say, please God, let that be true, because I say people's true nature, generally speaking, is not very good. So I think there's something to that. It does conceal, and I think it transforms human nature, because you just can't act like a shmendrik if you're dressed in Jewish uniform, because other Jews will tell you off. Even non-Jews will say, hey, you're not supposed to speak inappropriately to me. You're dressed like a holy man. It's like when you see priests or nuns walking through an airport.
But bingo, because you just identified. Keep going. I'm gonna.
So when you see priests and nuns walking through an airport, you're less likely to swear in their presence. You're less likely to tell dirty jokes. You're likely to behave a little better. So Orthodox Jews are like priests to the world. They're to elevate the world and to remind them of God. And we have a distinctive uniform, just like priests and nuns have a distinctive uniform.
I just want to say that the parallel you just articulated, that a lot of people will get upset when I swear. Because they have made the mistake of putting me on the same expectation, on the same level as a priest or a nun. But I'm not a priest or a nun. I'm a rabbi. And rabbis, we never asked to be put on that pedestal. And that is the basis of a